which means, as it says, just making them easy to understand. For example, if you have the square root of 12, the square root of 12, you could probably tell me close to what that number is. Anybody know what the square root of 12 is? If you're guessing? You know it has to be between what two numbers? How about that? Why between 3 and 4? Because the square root of 9 is 3 and the square root of 16 is 4. So you know the number has to be between 3 and 4. But there's a way to get even closer than maybe that would be, and that is to simplify this. Now here's how the simplification part works. And it's for those of you that are lazy, you'll probably get in trouble because you won't want to do this all because you think you can figure it out without this. But here's the first thing you must do. The first thing you must do is to prime factorize the number. Okay, so if I prime factorize the square root of 12, and here's what you have to do. The square root of 12 is not 3 times 4, it is the square root of 3 times the square root of 4. People get lazy and they don't put the square root signs, and I'm going to tell you in the end it's going to cost you dearly. So make sure you do that. Now the square root of 3 is already prime, but the square root of 4 can be broken down into the square root of 2 times the square root of 2. And both of those are prime, so you can stop. Okay, so the square root of 12, I wish I had room to write this. The square root of 12 can be prime factorized into the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 times the square root of 3. Stop me if you didn't catch that. We've been prime factorizing since 6th grade, maybe 5th grade. You were pretending like this is the number 12, but it's all square roots, because they take the square root times square root times square root and give you the square root of 12. Yeah,
And how do you like the twos?
because the square root of 4 is 2 times 2. 4 is 2 times 2.
Oh.
12 is 3 times 4. You can't break down 3, but you can break down 4 into 2 times 2. Normal prime factorization. Anybody? Now, what you are looking for is this. Your step number 2 is you are looking for pairs. And what happens is each square root pair cancels out to give you one non-square rooted number. I guess we should call it one non-square rooted, what is that number called under the radical sign? The radicand? I guess it is. Radicand. And some of you will say, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me, and others of you not so much. Here's my 3 factors I have. If you have an identical pair, in other words, a square root of 2 and a square root of 2, those will both cross off to give you just a normal non-square root 2. Now maybe this will make sense when I tell it to you. Well, the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 4. And the square root of 4 is a perfect square. What is the square root of 4? 2. So that's why that, you could have thought about it even back there, but I'm not going to take you there right now. Now what happens after that is, if the square root of 3 doesn't have a little buddy, step number 3 is you just remultiply what's left. Okay, and you can't multiply 2 times 3 because they're not like things. You just end up with 2 times the square root of 3 is your answer. Okay, now, what that might, let me get this out here because I don't see what it is here. This calculator. Two square roots that you should have firmly in your memory are the square root of 2. Square root of 2 equals approximately, what was that? 1.414. And the square root of 3, squiggly line, which means is approximately, square root of 3 is approximately 1.732. okay? So in the real world, when you were actually doing this and wanted to get very close to this number, you would take 2 times whatever the square root of 3 is, and you don't have to do this for your assignment, but just for your own personal knowledge. What is 2 times 1.7? 3.4 or whatever. So that this right here is the same thing as 3.1 or 3.14. Yeah, 3.1.
Yes.
That would be it. Wouldn't it be? It's not 31.4. So if you were asked to get close to this, what is 2 times the square root of 3? Well, 2 times 1.7 is 3.4 or whatever it is. Is that what I said? 3.4? It's not 3.14, it's 3.4 or whatever it is. That's kind of close. You're just getting close because we won't get it exactly. Jackson? We'll have many more of these. What?
What happened to the square root? Wait, yeah, the square root of 4.
Broke down to 2 square roots of 2. Those two identical ones cross off and give you a normal number.
So the 4 doesn't really matter.
This 4 got broken down, so it's off and on somewhere. Okay. No longer really existed there. Once you get to this part right here, you forget all about everything that's up here. Nikki Cow.
What is the last line?
I don't know. Radican. The number underneath. This is the little radican right there. I could write that little number under the square root sign, but under the radical sign. You'll catch on here. Let's do another one, maybe a little harder. How about the square root of 18? Square root of 18 would break down into what? Let's say it's the square root of 6 times the square root of 3. Square root of 3 is a prime number, so you can stop with that, but the square root of 6 is the square root of 2 times the square root of 3. And might I suggest, as a helpful little thing, that you rewrite this in nice order up here. Square root of 18 is the square root of 2 times the square root of 3 times the square root of 3. Now what happens in that group there? Corinne? Yep, these 2 3's cross off to give you a normal 3, the square root sign, just one normal 3, not 2 of them, just one. And you have to keep that square root of 2 that did cross off away from that. And again, the point of this is, what did we say? The square root of 2 is 1.414. So you could get awful close by taking 3 times 1.414. You know, this is going to be close to 5.2 or something like that as a number. Because if I asked you to give me 3 times the square root of 2 cookies, that really doesn't make a lot of sense to you. Although if I asked you to give me 5.2, you would give me 5 2/10 or something like that. Nick,
So on your assignment, I should just write.
you are not doing this. You are not doing this, you're just doing this. But I want to make sure that you understand what that means and why you simplify it so that you can see it. Daniel?
Will we actually have to multiply out the square root of 2 times the 3? Oh yeah.
More?
So do we just like put them together, we don't have to put a multiplication sign in between?
No. Well, no, not between these two, never. And if they're, well, and we're gonna go back, we got a couple more examples to do. Let's do a really hard one. Square root of 216. The square root of 216. Again, I always, if it's an even number, I kind of break it apart by just square root of 2 times what? Square root of 108. You can stop at the square root of 2. 108 is the square root of 2 times the square root of 54. 54 is the square root of 2 times the square root of 27. 27 is the square root of 3 times the square root of 9. And the square root of 9 is the square root of 3 times the square root of 3. So if you prime factorize 216, you end up with 1, 2, 3 2's. Square root of 2, square root of 2, square root of 2, and 3 3's. Here's where you kind of, this is a little different than we've done, so this is good for us. 2 square roots of 2 give you a normal square root of 2. Okay, this square root of 2 doesn't cross off with anything. 2 square roots of 3 cross off to give you another, well, to give you just a normal 3. I still have a square root of 2 left up there, and I still have a square root of 3 up there. The square root of 2 didn't cross off with anything, that square root of 3 didn't cross off with anything. So now you need to re-multiply that, and you can only multiply normal numbers by normal numbers, and you can only multiply square roots by square roots. So you end up with 6 times the square root of 6. You can re-multiply the square roots, and multiply the numbers there. Got that? Now you don't really need to know what the square root of 6 is, I don't know, it's gotta be close to what? 2 point something or 3 point something, whatever it is. I want one for you to try here. Let's see where we go here. How about the square root of let's do the square root of 48. Square root of 48. Do that for me, please, on your little piece of paper there. Sam, what's going on? How's life? Yeah, thanks for noticing. Come on and grab a seat. Want some pen papers? Sit there next to one. I'm just about done talking here, so you'll have some. Did we get an answer for this one yet, youngsters? Almost. Answers out there? See some links there. Crenshaw-Hammer says the answer maybe should be 4 times the square root of what? You can't have the square root of 12, because the square root of 12 could be simplified. I think the square root of 12 was the first one we did, wasn't it? Did we do square root? Christ?
4 times the square root.
4 times the square root of 3. We get something else? Hala?
2 times the square root of 3.
2 times the square root of 3. Anybody got anything else? John?
I got 6 times the second
Square root of 2? Alright, take a look up here, please. Let's see, first of all, John, what'd you break 48 into?
2, square root of 2.
Well, it's square root of 2 times 24, that might be a maybe Christmas date.
Oh yeah, I put that.
You do have that? The square root of 24 is, uh-oh. Stop. Man, this must be you, it's numbers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Bring it over home.
Where does it go? Why is
Yeah.
Here, let's do it over here, 'cause I don't have that kind of time. You ended up with the square root of 48 was the square root of 2 times 24, right? 24 was 2 times the square root of 12. 12 is 2 square roots of 6.
Oh, yeah.
And 6 is, okay, so you end up with, I'll rewrite it out in order here. How many square roots of 2?
4.
How many square roots of 3?
1.
2 square roots of 2 cross out to give you a normal 2. Another group cross out to give you another normal 2. Square root of 3 doesn't have anything to cross off with, so it stays. Re-multiplying this, 4 times the square root.
That's right.
Oh, I think I know what it is.
Battery's dead.
My pen stopped.
It's the magic.
It's permanent, maybe from all the time you dropped it.
Your assignment then. Just do the practice on 74.
No wonder why. They were already down 3-1. Doesn't matter. Still couldn't change this. Oh man, I don't want to go fancy. Can you have
I've heard a lot of stories.
Whatever it says. Right. 8 through what?
L.
8 through L.
So you want to do A through A through L, or just A through L?
8 through I, fine.
This square root of 38, square root of 10 times the square root of 3, and then square root of 5 times square root of 2. And
So let's rewrite what you have left over here.
so it's not that.
So you have the square root of 2 times the square root of 5 times the square root of 3. Yes. How many doubles you have? None. People, on problem number 4, if you don't end up with anything that'll cancel out, it already was simplified.
So that's basically
That is it. So problem number 4, you can't do anything with it.
Do you mean like meter C or something?
Sure. Well, you gotta do it to see if you can factor it out. 6.